ॐ सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः ॐ सर्वे भवन्तु सुखिनः सर्वे सन्तु निरामय सर्वे भद्राणि पश्यन्तु मा कश्चित् दुःखात् भाग् भवेत्. We pray for the happiness of one and all. May everyone be peaceful and comfortable at all levels of their personality. Spiritually, may we see that which is divine and holy. May there be no suffering anywhere. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Does anybody have any question? So there is a series of two talks, basically, series of couple of talks given on the principles of success. We'll do a few slides from that. So in those two talks, he says work, intense work is rest, self-sacrifice, unselfish sacrifice, self-forgetfulness, universal love, cheerfulness, fearlessness, self-reliance, purity. We have done a few of them. We will obviously revise it. See, for instance, for work, he says ever performing work. If you seek ease and comfort, laze, there is no hope for you. Inactivity is death, activity alone is life. Ever performing work, attack, persistent application is the secret of success. Hammer on, hammer on. Pushing and marching labor. Vedanta is not a stagnant in ignorant indolence. People associate Vedanta with a post-retirement pastime. It's not a life of laziness, it's a life of dynamic activity. When the desires fall off, the dynamic activity is happening at the mental level. In the complete work, Swamiji writes, at a very advanced spiritual stage, what is the spiritual practice? Awareness of the reality by a dynamic mind, not a lazy mind, a sattvic mind. Intense work is rest. Absence of ego is the highest yoga. Absence of ego. The ego will disappear only, first of all, we have to gain knowledge that beyond the body, mind, intellect lies our Atman, the Supreme Self. Our true identity is the Self, not this body, mind, intellect, our identification with the body, mind, intellect. And then putting it to practice is forgetting oneself in work. In work, we have to rise above the ego. Rise above the little self, small ego through intense work. Then you don't feel labor at all. Something like these are all.
Sir, just one question.
Yes. Yes.
So when we say that whenever we are working, we should one part should be in karma yoga, and the other part should be in remembrance of the self. Now, and most of the time, because we are not self-realized, during the day, sometime I'm talking about myself, sometime that flash comes that I have to remember. And most of the time we are in work and we get involved in the work. Now, he's saying that intense work where you have to forget about everything. So how is that different from where we are forgetting right now and getting involved in the work? Both are kind of we are forgetting the self only, right? In both the cases.
Yeah. Which point you are referring once again? I'll go back. Which point exactly once again?
Because you were passing by, you made a comment that, like how they say the work is somebody's in a flow or
right.
what.
Right.
Correct. So Where in that case, that person is not remember, he is completely absorbed in the work, he or she. So how is that different from being involved in the work?
Being involved in the work. Yeah. Um, okay, let's first analyze or understand what is the perfect activity. Um, we have the body, mind, and let's divide the intellect into the two sections, the gross intellect and the subtle intellect. The body has to be in constant motion, constant activity. That activity is aligned towards a higher goal or some goal, a higher goal. So the goal is fixed by the intellect. The intellect, one part of the intellect ensures the actions of the body, the feelings of the mind. Basically the mind surrenders its likes and dislikes and conforms to the goal. So body is in action, the mind is surrendering its likes and dislikes, and also the mind is focused in the present. So that is concentration. We are not allowing the mind to on its to go to the worries of the past or anxiety of the future. The gross intellect is maintaining this. So this is perfect action, but there is nothing spiritual about it. To make this spiritual is uh, the subtle intellect, the capacity in human beings to conceive of something beyond the terrestrial world, to conceive that there could be something, a life spark, a divine life spark, which enlivens the body, mind, intellect. So, in some way, we are remembering the self. So, the example that is given is let's say it's your birthday. There is a constant awareness that there is my birthday. You're not repeating to yourself that it's my birthday, it's my birthday, it's birthday, but you know for sure that it's my birthday, and then everything else carries on. See, there is a story in the scriptures. Um, I think it is between Vishnu and Narada. I forget the exact details. So Narada claims that he is the greatest devotee, greatest worshipper of Vishnu, and he says, "I remember you always." So Vishnu says, "No, there is someone who is more devoted to you than me. There's more devoted to you, to me than you." So Narada says, "Who is that?" So he gives an address and he goes and meets, I think that person is a simple farmer. So he gets up in the morning, he remembers Vishnu, he goes to work, works with dedication. End of the work, again he remembers Vishnu. And something like, basically, as like you said, we are not able to remember the self or the Atman throughout the day, but on and off here, as Swamiji says, synchronize. Maybe you see the sun and you remember, okay, the sun is the most powerful symbol of the reality. Maybe you see a temple or something, you remember, okay, Tadeva Brahmatvam Vidhi Nedam Yadidam Upasate. Reality is not what we worship in the world, it's something within you. So you do your own synchronization, maybe at least while having shower, instead of worrying and becoming anxious of some thought, okay, I am that formless reality. So over a period of time, that what could be a mechanical repetition, along with the morning study, if you are doing, there is a sincerity in the pursuit. You could feel yourself that you're doing it not as a mechanical thing, you're doing it with the right bhavana, the remembering of different types of the day, and that could be different. In fact, I'll come back to the story. In fact, I remember, since your question is reminding me of this. um, this is way back 2004 2005 when I joined the course, and I misunderstood something at the class. So I took my first appointment with Swamiji, and basically he kind of had passed a remark that students are coming from Delhi and Calcutta, and parents are thinking you're putting in effort, but you're not putting in effort. I got like my the whole thing was shaking. I said, What did I do wrong?" Like suddenly Calcutta came up. So I thought it was directed at me, but it was directed at the boy from Delhi. So but I didn't understand. So I quickly went to, I mean, I took, not quickly, I took an appointment, and Swamiji was like, "No, no, beta, you're doing fine. No, 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 it was not meant for you." Then he says something, and so I felt, oh, now Swamiji has given the approval that I am doing the course properly. So within a few weeks, next question was this. Swamiji, thought of Brahman comes during the day, few times, not all the time. Oh my God, the blasting, not blasting, he says, "You are result oriented. You want result of your action. Just do it. Just shut up and do." Just shut up means his point was, don't worry how many times you are remembering the self. sort of let it happen organically, naturally, as the effect of all the other things that we are doing. The morning study. In other words, yes, we should be concerned that where are my thoughts? As you think, so you become. The great Swami Ramatirtha himself says, if your mind is on a flower, your mind takes the shape of a flower. If your mind is on that supreme reality, slowly it's regaining that identification with the self. So we should put in a conscious effort to think of the self, but also let it happen naturally. We don't have to, definitely, we should not get into that result orientation mode that, oh my God, how many times I am. Uh, in other words, orientation always spoils the effort. We should just do the effort, the remembrance of the self will happen. So Narada saw this guy is only remembering the self beginning of the activity, maybe once during the activity, and later on at the end of the activity. So he was like almost in a very complaining manner came to Vishnu and said that, well, what do you mean that he remembers you and worships you more than me? So Vishnu said that you see that vessel full of oil. So Narada says, yeah. He says, can you take that and complete 10 rounds or 1 round of the room? Narada says, yes, if you tell me, I'll do it. And he did it successfully without spilling 1 drop of oil. And then he asked, how many times did you remember me? Narada was like, no, I didn't remember you. So that guy at least is remembering me thrice a day. So um, then there are people who say, first thing in the morning, if you wake up and are you able to remember the self? The Bhagavad Gita says, if the last thought at the time of death is the thought of the self, they say you will realize the self. That's why in India the custom is everybody's name is Sham and Ram and this and that. So by mistake also, particularly the worker's name, they put as God's name. So hey, Pari Lao Sham, and at least the thought is on Sham. But as Swamiji explains, it's just not the last thought. The last thought will actually be the culmination of all our thoughts. So, what does it mean? We remember the self with understanding, with the right feeling as often as possible. And if we are doing the Jnana Yoga, the morning study properly in the sequence Swamiji has mentioned, it will naturally come. It will naturally, the understanding will come that uh, there is something which is enlivening me all the time. Without the power, without that divine life spark enlivening me, nothing happens. And selflessness is where you're dedicated, whatever you do, selfish actions for oneself, unselfish actions for the welfare of the world. Selfless action is I am dedicating whatever I am doing to the goal of self realization. When uh, selfless action is where I'm dedicating myself to the goal of self realization. So let it organically or naturally spill over during the course of the day. Uh, Now, when we say of forgetfulness, uh, a lot is to do with this, whether we are working with a self-centered, egocentric attitude, or we are working with a unselfish attitude, or we are working without ego. So when we are working with a selfish, egocentric attitude and we get involved, that kind of involvement will make the person get affected by the results of action. The results of action is bound to affect me. The in the second case, the mind is much more pure. The affectation will be far less. In the third case, third case is what we say the like seeker's dream, where first condition is it should be a swadharmic activity, something which you easily flow into. Secondly, you are not really thinking of it should benefit me, definitely not benefit me. You're not even, it starts off by being unselfish, but then you slide into the way nature functions. Sun just shines, the nightingale just sings. If you're a financial person, you just do finance to the best of your ability. In doing that work, what you have to forget is, which you can't really do it consciously. It starts with an understanding. What you have to forget is the I am the doer attitude, the kartritva bhavana, the which requires knowledge. The I mean, in the a non-spiritual person, or a person who's not been exposed to spiritual person, he is proud. He is proud. I am the doer. Who's taking this class? I am the doer. So, with a lot of knowledge, you understand. Okay, there is something wrong in the I am the doer. From an absolute point of view, without the power of the self, no action is possible. From a relative point of view, any behind any action, there are millions and millions of people contributing. The totality. Somebody's designed the laptop, somebody's designed the Zoom, somebody designed the electricity. What is our contribution in the formation of the language? What, so like that, if you analyze, did we go to the farm and produce our food without fire? So there are infinite number of things coming together behind any action. So the knowledge makes us understand that I am the doer attitude is all rubbish. It's delusion. But how do you actually forget the ego? Because if you try to forget the ego, you are like stuck with the ego. That's where selfless action works. You just slide into activity without any other thought. Your focus on unselfish work is so much where you're forgetting who is doing the work. You're completely immersed in work. That involvement will actually help you contemplate upon the self better when the awareness comes. You are getting more and more prepared. The equipments are getting equipments, not the body per se, but the mind and the intellect is more and more becoming more and more subtler or purer. Then the thought of the self will naturally come. So there is a active preparation that whatever I do, I must dedicate myself to the self. So the pursuit of the self must be inspirational. Pursuit of must be something that inspires you, that moves you. Pursuit the what is the self? There must be a lot of knowledge. That's why we study so many. I mean, the whole knowledge of Vedanta. One part of Vedanta is only making us aware what that supreme reality is. So we understand what it is. We are inspired to seek it, and then we prepare for it. So a selfless person getting involved, he may get involved, forget the time, but the result of action will not affect him. Neither if he doesn't get praised for it will affect him. He is just doing what he can do. But so relatively he may have lost his objectivity. But the involvement of a selfish and egocentric person is a different involvement. That is a complete gross involvement. Affectation, ego will be there, anxiety will be there. But why is he getting involved? There could be one simple answer. Why do you think he's getting involved?
You want something out of the action.
Or it could be a Swadharma activity. It's not like everybody in Swadharmic field is evolving. I would say perhaps most of the people in the world are in Swadharmic activity. I don't know the percentage, but most are selfishly and egocentrically. So they are involved. But because the work is there, it's something they are doing it or love to do or like to do, they get involved in it. There are so many workaholics, right?
Right.
But that is a different involvement than a selfless person getting lost in his work. There, getting lost is rising above the ego.
Mm. Okay.
No stress. Ulta, it will create a great sense of joy, satisfaction because he doesn't want to do anything. He is just functioning like nature.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
Any questions? Shiva, was it okay? Right. Right. I am doing this is absent. So this I am doing this, it's like you can't practice it. You get into the state of it. It is an understanding that without the power of the self, I can't do it. And without the contribution of so many people, so many different factors in the world, no activity is possible. But then you have to get into that state where you don't really remember you're doing it. It's inspiration. You are one with divinity. What in tennis when Djokovic is playing that game, I remember I mean, when he won the French Open for the first time, he said the last few points he was in God mode. What is this God mode? Just the body is just functioning, not worried about anything. Perfection in action. That God mode is nothing but swadharmic activity, perfect focus in the present, and no ego at all. The best. There is a line. rise above the body and mind, make them illusion. There is a line that uh, you produce the greatest work when you realize you are no worker. Produce the greatest work when you realize you are not a worker. Let the body be subject to the laws of dynamics, the inner soul at rest. Inner soul here is the mind and intellect. Selfish restlessness spoils all work. The anxiety to get something out of it. That's one of the greatest lessons that the Guru and the scriptures have taught us, the value of doing work without mentally craving for anything out of it. The support comes from the law of karma. Anyway, we will get what we deserve. Deserving comes from right effort. So if you put in the effort and when there is a perfect divine wisdom functioning, which is maintaining the laws with mathematical precision, then what is there to worry about? The same thing Bhajagovinda Madi Shankara says. Had there been no laws functioning, had there been no ordena, then there was a fear. Oh my God, I'll put in effort and nothing may come out of it. That is impossible. All we need to do is put in the right effort and keep the mind at absolute rest. The mind will become at rest when there is this perfect knowledge, understanding that law of karma functions brilliantly. Why spoil our sadhana and our evolution by craving something and becoming egoistic? From good to better, daily self surpassed, it is as easy to be great as to be small. Today, let us try to be at our best because we don't know what's coming tomorrow. There is no guarantee whether it will be tomorrow. Today, let me be at my best, whatever is possible. Tomorrow, I'll maintain it or slightly improve it. Even Japanese philosophy says, bring about a little improvement every day. Maintain it or improve. Do your best today, tomorrow, slightly better. From good to better, daily self surpassed. What happens? It is as easy to be great as to be small. To be small means if I sleep the whole day, what is the big deal? Very easy to be small, but it's not very difficult to be great as well. If you just follow this good to better, daily self surpassed, you must try to be a little bit better or at least maintain it, keep maintaining it, then a little bit better, little bit better, little better. That is the formula for uh, perfection. No, the consequence and result are nothing to me. These are really very inspirational words and all karma yoga, pure karma yoga. Failure and success are nothing to me. I must work because I love work. It's almost like work is a person, and I have to keep work alive. I because I love work. I must work for its own sake. To work is my aim. To keep in activity is my life. My soul, my real Atman is energy itself. I must work. So if you stop working, work will die as it were. So just keep work alive. No other. Why do you need motives? He says, just work. The clouds give rain. The tree gives fruits. If you're a doctor, practice medicine. If you're a carpenter, make furniture. If you're an accountant, do accounts. If you're a teacher, you teach. If you're a preacher, you preach. Just follow your line of Swadharma and add to in that beautiful life. If you're able to add that the purpose of life is to realize the self, nothing like it, then we are almost there. Then it's a question of just having Shraddha and reaching the ultimate goal. All our material needs will automatically get fulfilled because you're not seeking it and you're doing your effort. Worry not about the consequences. Expect nothing from people. Bother not about favorable reviews or severe criticism. Care not whether what you are doing will tell or not. Think nothing of that. Do the work for its own sake. Sannyasi's definition is this. As chapter 6 of Bhagavad Gita says, today morning we studied it. Karyam karma karoti yaha sa sannyasi sa yogi. He who does what he ought to do. With all this, don't worry about the consequence. Don't worry about what others say, whether they are praising you. Of course, you're objective. If somebody praises you, okay, you feel okay, maybe I'm doing the right thing. Somebody criticizes you, okay, how can I improve? But don't get involved in it. Don't get affected by it. Care not whether what you will do will tell or not. See, it's like, it's like each one's script is so different. Each one's life is so different. Now, why am I not Donald Trump and not Donald Trump is not a Federer and Federer is not Amitabh Bachchan? Each one's life is so different. We really don't know who. So, like somebody says, the God was bored and he wanted to create a Netflix channel And each human being is one channel. Each one have a role to play. Now we have to just play our role. How to play? So we have to play our role. We have to play our role to the best of our ability with this kind of an attitude. Don't worry about the consequences. Just do what you're supposed to do. Maybe I have to play a role of a simple beggar. Somebody else should play a role of a president. Another person has to play a role of a CEO. When I am saying this, I am remembering what Shakespeare says. Uneasy, and I think it's Shakespeare's quote. I don't know whether it's Swami Ramatitha or our Swamiji says it. Uneasy lies the. I think Swami Ramatitha says it. Yeah, I think Shakespeare was before Ramatitha, right? Yeah. Ramatitha quotes Shakespeare. Uneasy lies the head that wears the crown. A simple life, no worry, no anxiety. Anyway, no worry and anxiety. A complicated life means so much to worry and anxiety. So it's not like if you're a CEO, you have to worry about it. That means that's a talent you have. Therefore, you have been given this role. The fact that you are in your present nature is best suited for your evolution. The fact that we find ourselves in a certain situation or circumstance, that is what we need to go through. How do we go through? We can go through complaining and grumbling and all sorts of in an agitated way. Or this is what it is. Let me do what I can do. Do the work for its own sake. Free yourself from desire. Never work. Nowhere in the scriptures it says give up work. It says give up your worries, give up your anxiety, give up your ego, give up all the negativities. Free yourself from that yearning, restlessness, and just work. So, any number of times we study this, it's always inspiring because it's so practical. And this is the preparation for what? Ultimately, to contemplate and meditate upon the self. So we do both. Whenever we are inspired, let the mind remember the self. Directly, when we are doing our morning study and we get verses where we are supposed to remember ourselves, I am everything, I am in all beings, I am everywhere. That is my divine self. Now, if you are genuinely believing that there is, I am God or I am divine, then at least rest of your day be a good human being because as long as you're alive, be a good human being. This is outstanding, this paragraph. The most effective and best cure for all sorts of distracting passions and temptation is work. If you have nothing to do, idle mind is a devil's workshop. In fact, if you have nothing to do, it's a very boring. It will start with boredom, monotony. It will become like a depression. When you are not ready to not work, when you're full of desires and you suddenly take a break and you're not doing anything, it's not an easy life. So better to engage in swadharmic karma, keep making a contribution, become aware of all that we are receiving. Out of that gratitude, keep making a contribution. We are not working to get something from the world. We are working to as a repayment. So much I have already received. Here is an opportunity to repay in spirit because practically you cannot repay. So when we work, at least all wrong things will not come. You are protected from all wrong things, from distracting passions and temptations. But he says that is only a negative recommendation. It's very, very useful to be busy in positive activities. But that's a negative recommendation. Now, all that we have studied, if you are able to give up worry, ego, desire, expectation, anxiety, and remembering the self, the positive joy that accompanies faithful work is a spark of salvation. Unconscious self realization. I think Swamiji has not put all this in his book because it's too difficult to explain. Better to put it into practice and realize it because this is not from Swamiji, this is pure Swami Ramatitha. The positive joy that accompanies faithful work is a spark of salvation, unconscious self realization. It keeps you pure, untainted, and one with divinity. This happiness is the highest and surest reward of work. No selfishness, no ego, and you are working to the best of your ability, full dynamism. And then there is a purity that there is a divine which is running the world. Coconut tree has to give coconut, banana tree has to give banana. Similarly, Anamika has to do Anamika's work, Meher has to do Meher's work, Basab has to do Basab's work. You just do it. There is a supreme sense of satisfaction. Practically having done what I am supposed to do. If I am mother, be the best mother. If you're a brother, be the best brother. If you're a worker, be the best worker. not for something. The moment, what will I get out of it? Katham. It's all selfish, and then ego comes in. Then we lose this positive joy. Then what happens? Only you are avoiding the negativities. Here, the karma yoga is a very, very practical way to get closer to the self. No prize, no appreciation can be more beneficial, salubrious, kind, warm hearted, good nature, beneficial than immediate joy that accompanies earnest action. See, feel no responsibility. If you're not there, somebody else, if I am not there, somebody better will come and take the class. That doesn't mean you have to go away. As long as you're there, we don't decide things which are not in our control. Our business is not to go. I mean, if you're at a particular place, you be the best version of yourself in that particular role. But don't get now when you get, oh, I have to do this, I have to do that. No, 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 nothing to worry. Feel no responsibility, ask for no reward. Deserve only, no need to desire. I think this is what was in our group message today. A stone that is fit for the wall will not be found in the way. If you deserve, by an irresistible divine law, everything will come to you. So, this irresistible divine law is already functioning. We may function or not function. We have a choice of action, but the irresistible divine law is functioning. So, we got to take advantage of it by just putting in the right effort. Effort, if there is one word to capture what will happen in our life, is effort. But then the effort can be wrong effort. So, effort with the right knowledge becomes right effort. And when we have put in the right effort, nothing to worry. Just leave it to that divine wisdom. As the saying goes, do your best and leave the rest. Now, to a Vedantic student, leave the rest has much more meaning and power. There is a incredible, supreme, divine power functioning everywhere. Someone said how hot the sun is, incredibly hot the sun is, and slowly, slowly the temperature is reduced and reduced and reduced and reduced. By the time it reaches Earth, it's in that comfortable zone where we are able to survive. A little bit, what is the percentage of reduction? It's incredible. But if a little bit here and there, we cannot function. All the scientific things that have to, scientific laws, the centrifugal force and the gravitational force, and you know, I don't have really a scientific this thing, but they say every body is made up of protein molecules. Anybody understands that protein molecules? The human body has something called protein molecules. What is the probability of formation of a protein molecule? I think amoeba is the slowest moving organism. For amoeba to go from the beginning of the universe to the end of the universe, that itself is like I can't conceive it. For an amoeba to go from the beginning of the universe to the end of the universe and come back, the probability that one protein molecule will be formed is not sure. And our body apparently has 70% protein molecules. Ashcharya, it's a miracle. So how everything is functioning, it is just not human conception. The most best heart surgeon or the neurosurgeon or the eye surgeon just have no clue how all this was designed and what all things can go wrong. It's incredible. So why I'm giving such hi-fi scientific data is that there is something incredible happening in which you and me, no human ego can do anything about it. It's just happening. So since there is this divine irresistible law, we have to just put our head down and do what we are supposed to do, not worry about anything else. No need to feel any responsibility. Neither do you avoid your responsibility. Avoiding your responsibility is tamas. Getting caught up in responsibility and the fever of becoming a Frankenstein in duty is rajas. Like a king, just do what you need to do. Everything will come to you, or everything will fall into its own place. Me and Meher, we had gone for a holiday in 2023 for 2-3 days. I think the only time we had gone, and nothing was planned. Nothing was planned. Very sweetly, one of my class students only said, "So you can spend a couple of days," and nothing was planned. And everything was happening so beautifully. We were only saying everything is falling into place, everything is falling into place. Only thing we were worried is that we were going on the bike, we should not fall into place. It was so sometimes it just happens. A friend of mine was in Ahmedabad, and somebody told him that there is a beautiful play on Ramayana. Maybe some of you have watched it. It was in NCP a few days in Bombay. Apparently, very very some Ashutosh guy. I don't have the details. So my friend checked. He's Ahmedabad for the first time. He checked. There's a show in Ahmedabad. Venue 5 minutes away. He checked for the tickets. 2 tickets left, and he's only one person. How do you explain that? Somebody random tells him, "Why don't you go for this show?" And when he goes and checks, the venue is 5 minutes away. 2 tickets left. So I'm saying when something has to happen, it just happens. So we don't have to plan. I mean, we should have a higher goal, a project where we can make our maximum contribution. That's all the intellect does. What should I do? How can I repay back? Okay, sun is shining, clouds is giving rain. What can me do? I understand the world doesn't need my services, but for my sanity and my force, my spiritual evolution, I have to exhaust my vasanas. I have to reduce my ego. What service can I do? Swami Vivekananda says, doing service, the person who is doing service must be grateful. Even in the culture is that um, the giver thanks the receiver. Thank you for giving me an opportunity to give. Because without that, I would not be able to evolve. And the goal is spiritual evolution is a totally different life. Somebody steals something for you, thank God, my loan is repaying faster. That doesn't mean you open it up, but you are free. Mentally, there is no anxiety. All that should be backed by effort. Last, not last, okay. Attack. So effort has to be 100%. Lack of effort is tamas. Effort with selfishness, ego is rajas. But this pure effort, I will do my best, and whatever has to happen, you leave it to divinity. That's sattvic effort. Attack, hammer on. Work so as to realize the nothingness of the body and the supreme reality of the true self. See, the involvement of the ordinary person, he's not bothered. He is getting involved to pamper his body. Here, the involvement is to forget his body and remember the self. So, negation of the ego and assertion of the real self, the that forgetfulness is only pure action. Removing of the cow. So it's a first you understand it theoretically, and in Swadharma you practice it. It will come. Doesn't come immediately, but it will come. See somebody like Virat Kohli. I mean I don't know how spiritual or unspiritual he is. I really don't know. But when he was in a long bad form, and then he played that in front of, it's almost like a dream. You can't write a better script. It was Diwali, and India is playing Pakistan in Melbourne, where there are 80,000 people watching, and India needed 28 runs of 8 balls. I mean, it was already a difficult chase, and he needed 28 of 8 balls. And those two, 8 ball and 7 ball, he hit sixes. And I mean, sixes anybody can hit. The class with which he hit, it's almost like the greatest shot ever. It was like a short pitch ball, and he hit it out of the park. And the next ball was a classy flick, and it became 16 of last over, which was manageable. Like 2 sixes made a big difference. And then India won the match. And when he was being interviewed, it was like Vedanta. He says, I'm grateful to God. I don't know what was happening there. He was completely in the zone. Like he just played it. So now we all know he really works hard. We all know that is his Swadharma. And perhaps in those moments, he was only thinking of winning the match for India, nothing else. Like he was doing his job, just watching. So suddenly you can't perform like that. I'm not just saying that. I'm not just saying that uh, thought of God comes when you act so extraordinarily. You can think of God in a very, very simple action which nobody is watching. This is the whole world watching. But the point is, when we are in that zone, great work will automatically come out of it. In your field of activity, extraordinary things will happen. All these music composers, I have heard of Ilya Raja, South Indian music composer, or even for that matter, A.R. Rahman or Zakir Hussain, their art is very spiritual. They are dedicated to the divine, and therefore they are able to produce great works. This is, I don't know where this musical note is coming from. Early in the morning, I'm composing. I don't know where it's coming from. Have you watched the movie Meher? The Man Who Saw Infinity.
Yes, I've seen
So
that.
I will recommend all of you, Aditi, Farhat, Anamika, Chan, Shiva, Sarita. The Man Who Saw the Infinity. It's on the mathematician Ramanujam. He goes to a temple and he's just writing the formulas. He Ego is totally absent. Going to the temple and writing is an indication that I am not doing anything. The divine is functioning through me. So already a lot of effort is put into that field to be brilliant, and then you completely switch off the ego. I am just an instrument in the hands of divinity. Great things will automatically come. Um, One of our class members had asked Swamiji, one of Swamiji's greatest contribution to humanity and this knowledge is dividing each chapter of the Bhagavad Gita into topics. So this person asked Swamiji that how did he even conceive of it? He says, when you are attuned to Krishna, it comes. When you are attuned to the self, when you completely attuned, it's almost like he knows what is being said. A very strange answer. I mean, strange answer in the sense he could have said there were hours and hours of hard work, and I thought. He didn't say that. He said, when you're attuned to the higher, you're attuned to Krishna, it comes. So he's not doing it almost like as if Krishna is doing it. Right. Be always a giver, a free worker. Best thing that we have, the best thing that we have learned from Vedanta. Just work for internally. I'm not saying don't take salary. If it comes, you take it. If it doesn't come, also it will come if you do the work. And if you don't do the work and take the salary, you will not be able to enjoy it. It will go away. Be always a giver, a free worker. Never throw your heart in a begging, expecting attitude. Be a king. We are working out of fulfillment. We are not working to gain fulfillment. But fulfillment is knowing the awareness of the self. It is only when you let go the desire that it fructifies. Okay. There is a class, so we'll stop here now. We'll end with the prayer. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. That is infinite whole. This is infinite whole. Infinite has come out of infinite. Take away infinite from infinite. What remains is infinite. There are more stars in the universe than grains of sand on earth. There are more atoms in one grain of sand than stars in the universe. Okay, thank you very much.
Thank
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Sir, I had one thing, one question. Just
Yeah. Go ahead.
how
Go
do you
ahead.
know whether this Swadharma is the correct Swadharma?
Yeah, there are certain indications. You will not be afraid. There will be no fear of it. Something you look forward to. It's something that makes you jump up from the bed. Activity itself you love. It's interesting for you. You're not doing it because of convenience or because you will get something out of it. You enjoy the activity by itself. It is something that is part of your nature. If you're doing it because you're getting something out of it, or it's full of fear, like an unknown thing, you're not good at it, and you just took it up because it was convenient or because of reason apart from the nature of the work.
Okay, and is it possible that you change Swadharma throughout your life?
Suddenly, you will not change. Generally, if you observe yourself, there will be certain things. Like I love cricket, I love tennis, I like football. Now, suddenly, I'll not change. So, at the level of the heart, it will be something. At the level of the could be engineering or doctor. So, maybe we'll get on a call at some point and
Okay.
discuss it.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah,
Okay.
sure. Okay. Thank you.
I'll remember. You just message me sometime. We'll catch up.
Yes, yes. Sure. Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.